Welcome to Marketing RV. You can start that, at some point, Gene. You can say welcome.
No.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not doing it. I'm not
right.
not going to do it.
Right.
They already don't pay me enough for this.
Well, I was going to say that I'm always going to make more money than you if I'm the one starting it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You deserve more money than me. Why are you laughing?
It's just funny. Everything's funny. So, Marketing RV with Renali and
Gene Volpe.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be the R and the V.
Do we have a mission statement for this?
You want to do that now?
We should. Do you know it?
Actually, we did write one.
Yeah.
Do I know it? Yeah, I want to see if you know it.
I have no idea what it is. Well, you know what my mission statement is, and in a minute we're going to bring our guest in who happened to... Why, am I loud?
Yeah, you're a little
You can
loud.
say it out loud.
Back off.
Because people are probably, if they're listening to it with their headphones, they're probably
They're gonna
thinking the
hear
same
it.
thing.
What's she saying?
They're thinking the same... No, they're thinking the same thing. God damn,
Gene's
you're
loud.
loud.
Yeah.
You're loud. So, you made me lose my train of thought.
Of course.
So...
Mission statement.
Our guest, who we're going to bring in a minute, Andrew Beaver, has a shop next door. We're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But he came in and he said, "Why are you recording here?"
Okay, so...
So this leads into my mission statement. I'll go anywhere where they give me free booze and free food.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So that's what we talked about when we started this podcast. My biggest thing was I want to be able to eat and drink for free. That was it. Because I knew I could use this and elements of this podcast in my marketing, which is what I do. So from an asset perspective, a marketing asset perspective, I chop this up 4 ways a Sunday and use it all out there while I'm eating pizza and drinking beer and drinking wine, which you don't have any for me today.
I didn't bring wine.
That's bullshit.
And now you are the winer.
No, I'm not actually. Today, after this weekend, I'm okay not drinking
anything. You need
anything.
a little dry out day?
I need a dry out month. Yeah, we're doing dry July, I think. Yeah.
I doubt that.
Well, no, I can't. But
you wouldn't start that till July 5th.
Well, listen, my other podcast is called Barbells and Brews.
So you can't do it dry.
I can't be completely dry, but I'm going to kick it back a notch. I went to the gym this morning, which I hate going in the morning. I'm usually a 5 o'clocker. So my mission statement is, have food and booze will travel.
Okay, yeah, it is. But what you said earlier, and the reason that we do this also is because it's more exciting to do it on location.
Yep.
We sometimes bring in a little crowd, and we get publicity for ourselves for the location where we are, which we'll talk about.
Okay.
It's not about the free food so much. It's about partnering. And, people ask me all the time, Gene, how do I increase my presence in the community? How do I get more publicity, more promotion? Partnering. The more people you can partner with, the better it is, right?
But isn't it so much better over a hoagie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially the garlic cheesesteak. Have you had those?
Uh-oh. I've had it, but not from here.
Carmine's Pizzeria and Family Restaurant in Chester Springs. Carmine's Parkside. It's carminesparkside.com. That's where we are today. And what brought us out here is Joe and Maria Scavito, the owners, sponsored the first run of Gravy Wars. So they've carried the book for 10 years now, and they still sell it. And I came to drop off some more books. So I said, what the heck?
Real quick, you're assuming now everybody's been with us for the first 17 episodes, 18 episodes. What's Gravy Wars?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah,
Let's
I like that.
Let's not assume. Let's give them the heads up.
I think that's wonderful. You always bring me back to that. So, Gravy Wars was my fun little book published in 2009 about the Italian-American culture, our traditions, our superstitions, our idiosyncrasies. A lot of family restaurants in there. It's just a fun read. It's funny.
It is. I've read most of it. I still think my meatballs are better than yours.
And we will put that to the test one day.
I
I'm
would
thinking
love
in the fall or in the winter at this point because
Okay.
I don't do much gravy making in the summer.
Can we do that in your kitchen?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right, so let's jump into this because I know the topic we're going to talk about today, and I think we have a good guest here to talk about it.
But I
There's gonna
think
be...
it's really cool how the guest came to be.
Go, tell me.
And that, lends to our whole Marketing RV, our approach to this podcast, and our respective approaches to marketing. We, like everything else, we throw it out there on social where we're going to be, so people might want to come. You get a text from your buddy, and he says, "Stop over, I'm right next door." And I'm like, tell him to get his butt over here. We'll put him on the podcast.
Let's say what he really said.
Go ahead.
Did I just see Gene Volpe in the parking lot, or is that some other handsome devil?
Isn't that sweet?
It was very nice of him, yes. And I said, no, it's the one and only handsome devil. So Andrew Beaver is here with us. And it actually worked out pretty well because you saw me walking through the parking lot. It just happened, right? Is that
Right. Yeah.
So welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you. I'm excited I can talk now. I've been waiting in silence for like
I know,
3
it's
minutes. That was
killing you, isn't
painful.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. I had so many things
why
to say.
don't you tell everybody where you work?
Yeah, so Andrew Beaver. I work at the Beaver Insurance Agency. We're an all-state office, and we share a wall here with Carmine's. So I was getting back from lunch and a little cigar break, and I saw Gene, and we've never met in person.
Wait, this is the first time you're
This
meeting
is it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
You
I
only met on Facebook before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have so many people in common.
Right.
Right. I know you're doing business with a lot of people that I've done business with in the past and vice versa. And I'm going to be a guest on your podcast
Right.
with Ryan Richardson in a couple of weeks. So this is a weird one. So Ryan Richardson do you know how I know Ryan?
No.
Ryan's fiance, Kristen.
Yes.
Do you know her?
Yep.
Is the nutritionist at my gym.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right, what's the name of your gym?
Paul Bunyan Fitness.
Yes, over in Phoenixville?
No, we're down in like Newtown Square, technically.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah,
not
yeah.
far from. I was going to mention the name of a restaurant because that's our point of reference, but I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
because we're at Carmine's. It's down right off 252 and Route 3
Okay.
in Newtown Square area. But Kristen, I forget how it exactly happened, but Ryan was a mortgage lender at an office I do business with in Limerick,
Mm-hmm.
KW, right? And Kristen is the nutritionist who I've worked out with a million times, and we had a Christmas party, I think, and Ryan showed up. And I was like, what the
that's
hell are
so
you doing
funny.
here? And he's like, this is my girlfriend. At the time, they weren't engaged.
Right.
And so now I keep in line. I haven't seen Kristen in a couple of weeks, actually, but that's more my fault because I haven't been at the gym as regularly as I should have. But that's how we know each other. You and I connected via some crazy concoction
Sure.
online, and then we see each other today. So, real quick, I don't want to go too far into this, but I think it should be noted. You have a pretty good thing going on social media with your fitness, and I have to imagine having your office next door to Carmine's doesn't help.
No.
Oh, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously haven't been following me lately because there's been no workout posts for probably weeks. But
Are you sure? Because I feel like I saw one at least a week ago.
Nah, it's somebody else. Yeah, another Andrew Beaver.
No, it's
maybe.
not somebody else. It was
Yeah.
definitely you, but I sort of remember seeing something, unless it popped up on my timeline from before.
Like, I mean, it's stalking. Let's call it what it is,
Oh, that's
right?
fine.
When you're
Well,
scrolling,
listen,
you're going to find those posts.
Listen to
but-
me, you look as good as you did 6 weeks ago.
Hey, thank
maybe,
you.
Maybe a little better.
Well, you know, I'm down a couple pounds. We moved our office about a year ago from above a pizza shop. Now we're next door to one. So it's always been difficult. That it's just too convenient. And really, for me, 3 kids, business owner, it's time. It's just trying to, meal prep to get
Make
stuff
the
done.
time to do it.
So I'm always eating out, and we're entertaining people, and it's really hard to do all that.
It's so many amazing things with this podcast. First of all, we should probably have called it serendipity because the way they come to fruition all the time seems serendipitous. But we love talking food. We love being around food. Gene and I love eating. Yet fitness and working out always seems to be, brought up during a podcast.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know in my life, if I didn't work out, I'd be 6 billion pounds.
Honest
Right.
to God.
I already have issues with my blood pressure's too high.
Yeah.
So I have that going on, and it's only gotten better since I work out. If I don't work out, it goes through the roof.
Yeah.
I don't need to stroke out. I can't. If
No.
you know what I mean? Like
No.
there's a lot of things going on.
And a recent report that I heard today, of course, now we're broadcasting, in advance. So when this is finally aired, it might be old news or it might have been played out in the news. But they're saying that heart attack is still the #1 killer in the U.S., despite all the knowledge, all the drugs for cholesterol and
Yeah.
everything. And it's happening as young. I don't know if it's the average age or it's more common that it happens in the 40s.
Well,
And
she
so-
just jinxed the shit out of me. I
Hey,
can tell you that.
Jinxie, I'm trying to tell you, get to the gym and
Well, no, I do go to the gym. I just got to eat better. I got to slow down on the drinking, right? I shouldn't drink as much as I do. No, none of us should. I probably shouldn't drink at all, if I'm being honest. But it's fun.
No, I think a little red wine's good for you.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What happens? What about a lot of red wine?
I don't know. Will
Okay.
it turn into a grape?
We're gonna find out. But no, I don't really want to go down that path any further because I'm tired of it. But I'd rather talk about food. I'd rather talk about surveillance.
That was the topic today, and I thought it was so, again, serendipitous that Andrew's joining us because he works for an insurance company, and I think the security issues that could arise from all this, what do you call that?
Access to data.
Well, the data, yeah. I mean, just from the way that you secure your home now, it's all through the phone, it's all
Yeah.
through cameras,
It's
it's
all
all
through internet.
wireless. Yes.
Well, there was just a report recently where they have those, and I forget who makes it, but the new door locks. It might be Ring or Nest. I don't even know. but the new door locks that are keyless,
Yeah, I don't like that.
somebody hacked into that and was able to
Yeah, come on.
For every convenience we have, there's some crook out there trying to bypass it.
Right.
And we talk about this all the time. We're going down a different road than I think we wanted to, but privacy over convenience. And I happen to be in the world where I'm okay giving away a lot of my privacy for convenience. I do not tape my camera.
Like I do.
Like you do, right?
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, it's funny, a lot of people do it, but if you're looking at me through my camera, there's some shit you're not going to want to see. So I'm perfectly okay with you zooming in. I'm not worried about it. Now, there's people would say there's other things going on that you don't want folks to see. I get it. But it is what it is. I'm more concerned with my bank accounts. Like, I don't want to log in one day and all my funds are depleted.
Right.
Other than that, I could care less if you're watching me.
And it could so easily happen, and it might not even be nefarious. It could just be a bug, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But so here's we were talking a little bit. The conversation started pre-show a little bit with surveillance and the way things are working. Let's talk about the whistleblower real quick.
Yeah,
the article
that's
you mentioned, but then I want to slide that into something that I saw in the past week that I want to put out there. I haven't been able to confirm it, but it doesn't matter, and you'll see why it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you about how some of these things apply to the insurance world. Or maybe they don't, but I want to go down that path. But go ahead. So talk about the Google thing.
The whistleblower basically saying that they wanted to change the algorithms in Google so that Trump doesn't win in 2020. And she was picked up, without being, she was being recorded when she didn't know at a restaurant, and now she's trying to backpedal. You pulled up the article, right?
I did. I'm looking at it now, yeah.
Now this might be, again, who knows by the time this podcast airs how this story's going to develop, but it's not going away. And there was the video of the recording that was posted on YouTube, and YouTube already took it down. So all of these big companies...
Why is that?
Does Google own YouTube?
They sure do.
Oh, they do.
So,
that's right. I'm getting confused. Wait, I thought Facebook owned...
No, Facebook owns Instagram. And I can't even say that.
Right.
Instagram.
Right.
By the way, real quick, what's your Instagram handle?
I think it's just Andrew J. Beaver.
All together?
Pretty sure, yeah.
We're gonna give it out. I just want to make sure that it is, because when people, at the end of this, when people want to look you up, it's one of the spots we're going to send them.
Yeah, Andrew Beaver like the animal. I think it's Andrew J.
You.
Beaver.
Yeah, that's you.
Hey,
Andrew
look
J.
at that
Beaver.
handsome guy.
Really handsome.
I need to update that picture.
I was going to say, in your profile picture, you got a lot of hair.
Yeah, a lot of hair, and maybe a couple pounds lighter. I don't know.
I don't know. We're going to go back and look at it, but go check out Andrew J. Beaver on Instagram, and you can get to see what he's up to. That was sort of like a little offside, but here's what we're talking about as far as this goes. First of all, if you don't think the algorithms, regardless of the search engine you're using or the platform you're using, are being manipulated, you're crazy. So I'll give you an example. I heard this you listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you hear the one where they brought in Jack Dorsey?
I don't think
Jack Dorsey's the CEO of Twitter. And I always tell people this, there's a sequence of podcasts that he does, Joe Rogan did. So he brought on Jack Dorsey. Okay? See if you can follow me. Jack Dorsey is the CEO of Twitter, and he also owns something called the Cash App, which is an app.
I've heard Joe advertising that now.
Well,
at the beginning of the show.
Joe's a partner.
Okay.
And he was transparent. So Joe is basically what I'm saying is Joe is a partner with Jack Dorsey in something outside of Twitter. So when he got on there were all these. When he interviewed Jack Dorsey, there were all these crazy things going on about how Twitter is like privacy and Twitter's shutting down a lot of right-wing individuals. Mm-hmm. Alex Jones was banned, like a lot of different things. So what people were saying is the conservatives are going after Twitter saying if you don't like the message, you're silencing people, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a total another debate on whether they're allowed to do that or not. They're a privately held company. But anyway, people got online and gave Joe Rogan a really hard time because they said he went easy on Jack Dorsey because he was a partner with him in the Cash App. Mm-hmm. So Joe Rogan brought on this the guy's name is Tim Pool. So episode 1 was Jack Dorsey. Mm-hmm. Episode 2 was this reporter, Tim Pool, who's a conservative guy, young cat, that basically got on and argued with Joe about the questions he should have asked him. Then, 2 episodes later, 3 episodes, something like that, they brought on Tim Pool, Jack Dorsey, and Twitter's head of security. Oh. And talked it out. And when you go through it, the information I got goosebumps thinking about it. The first of all, the conundrum that these like Google has, just based off of their guidelines and rules in states dependent on the country that they're operating in, right? Like I look at it from the United States, like there needs to be free speech. sometimes there's not free speech in countries they operate in.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's different laws and guidelines that govern what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So just that element of it by itself is mind-blowing, right? But what he said was Twitter was arguing that they're not left-leaning, which most Silicon Valley is. So people that create these apps mostly are liberals, more left-leaning than right-leaning, so they have a hard time letting conservatives voice their opinions in certain cases. That's the argument. Come throughout this whole thing, you come to find out that part of the ownership of Twitter is a conglomerate in Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
Very interesting, right? So
Wow.
now, and Joe says to him on the podcast, I know you're going to defend yourself on this, but you have to agree that when the people that run the company they're putting their money in come down and say, Joe or Jack in this case, the head of Twitter, we're sitting at a board meeting and we want to drive the direction of what Twitter's doing. You have to agree that you got to follow those rules in a lot of cases where the money gets pulled out, right? So if the Saudi government doesn't want Trump elected, is it possible that they're behind the scenes pulling the strings to have Twitter put stuff in front of you that's going to make you not want to vote for Trump? And I just picked Trump that way because we're talking about it. It could be the other way.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want AOC involved,
Right.
and so their agenda when they go through Twitter is to start to suppress and block AOC's tweets and bump up her opposition. So because they're private companies, you have to understand that you got to really sort through the weeds, right?
Yeah.
Because not everything can be taken at face value.
Well, consumer beware. You have to understand. First of all, too, a couple of things come to mind. People have to understand Twitter and Facebook are not news sites. A lot of people get their news from those places, YouTube, whatnot. None of them are news organizations. When you look at your traditional news organizations, they're not even objective, not even close, and they haven't been for as long as I've been in the business,
Right.
and that's 30 plus years. So, consumer beware. Just take everything with a grain of salt, and you have to do your own research. You have to be your own watchdog, because you can't, you can't go on, oh, well, so-and-so has so many followers, so I'm going to follow along. And that's the whole thing with polls. I mean, I know you don't want to go down the political rabbit hole, but, all the polling and whatnot, everything is skewed.
Yeah, sure.
There's so you got to look at just, what's going on in the world, what do I like, what do I not like, and go from there and make your decisions.
I think the point is to have multiple sources of, sort of like having multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
You would have multiple sources of information.
Absolutely.
And be able to,
you can't turn on one
Trust but verify.
TV station at night and think that you're getting, all the objective news, you
Right.
know. It's been proven over and over for since before we were on this earth.
So let me profile Andrew for a second. How old are you?
30.
If I said to you right now, you get 2 hours to do as much research on something you're interested in, cigars, the campaign, politics, food, where are you going?
Just the internet.
Give me something more specific.
So it all depends. I mean, I think that there's some aggregators, like something like a Wikipedia, that gives you a good place to launch from, because then they've got links and things. But if there's a reputable company, if it's a cigar company, I'm going to go to Cigars International and start looking at all their different brands, and then branch out to company websites. If it's food, I'm going to try to go to their website, or like a Yelp, like an aggregator like that.
So where do you think you spend 50% of your internet time?
I mean, for me, I'm on Facebook all day.
You are?
Yes.
And why is
Really?
that?
It's good for business. It keeps me connected. It's just always been beneficial, and it's I'm sure it's an addiction at this point. So
Yeah.
it's probably
I have a little bit of that too. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say for the most part, that's where I am. It's pretty rare that I go into, other than work related stuff, I'll Google things all day, houses or whatever I'm looking at for insurance purposes.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of Google, a lot of Facebook. That's basically it. I don't have any other trusted resources. I don't even shop a lot on like Amazon. I'm not as tech savvy with all that stuff. So
Okay.
mainly
So
Facebook.
I find that interesting that he's 30,
Yeah.
and that's the generation that everybody's saying is moving towards Instagram.
Right. Right.
So it's interesting that you're sticking with Facebook.
Yeah, well, it was interesting when you asked me what my Instagram handle was, because I post probably a third of the posts to Instagram that I do to Facebook.
Interesting.
Because I don't know how to use it quite as well. I don't like the platform as much. You can only do a certain number of
You're
pictures.
very limited on Instagram.
Yeah, like
It's not like Facebook.
Videos are limited to a minute. I don't have as many followers. I have 4,000 some friends on Facebook. I have like 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I could post something to Facebook and get 100 comments, and I could get maybe one heart on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't correlate at all. So
I
for
feel
me,
the
I'm just
same
going
way.
where They say the eyes are on Instagram, more eyeballs there, but I haven't found it to be true in my own life.
Well, I think people on Instagram have proven to be more voyeuristic, less interactive.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are seeing your post. They just don't want to stop and give you some
Yes,
love.
yeah.
I think is in a lot of cases what it is. Because it's getting busy like everything else. Now all of a sudden, Instagram is one of those things where you're just scrolling all the time.
Right.
And you're looking at stories, and then you're looking at IGTV, and so I just found that was interesting. But I wanted to get into...
I'm impressed, by the way, with how well you're using the computer and talking and having a conversation at the same time. I couldn't do that.
When you have
appreciate that.
ADD, that's what you do.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually easy. So what the one thing I want to talk about, I think we're going to put the Google thing on the side for now, right?
Can I ask Andrew a question?
Yeah, sure.
So you use Facebook, it helps you in business, and you're in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Do you use LinkedIn at all?
No, not at all.
Wow.
I think it's dead.
I
Does
live
anybody
on
use LinkedIn? I just feel like it's all I get is just poaching emails from recruiters.
Really?
Hey, I came across your profile. I think you'd be great. I'm like, right, sure you did.
Yeah.
It's the 1,000th email you've sent today. Yeah. So I don't know. It's never, of all the things, Facebook has risen to the top.
How about
Never
that?
used Twitter. Instagram doesn't do much for me. LinkedIn.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is my top.
I know
that.
that's
Really?
your go-to,
Yeah.
And I think for me it's probably third or fourth on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But I deal in a space too where there's like, I feel like for the insurance world, if you're an agent, I don't think people who are looking for insurance are going on Fit LinkedIn.
Yeah, true.
But from my perspective,
I'm thinking more of him being cold calling and going after people,
Yeah.
that kind of
And
thing.
I
I think it all. I don't use it. It's all organic for me. Like if you scroll my posts, you're going to see a lot of food, a lot of my kids. It's very rarely insurance related. I'll post
Gotcha.
something when it's interesting.
And that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah, because
You're
people
just
don't want
engaging.
to.
You're being yourself.
Right. The people that same thing over and over again. Like I get it. You're a realtor. I get it. And they just keep posting the same thing. You don't get to learn about that person.
Right.
and you're going to hide them.
Right. Exactly. And so you stop engaging in their posts, and Facebook will hide them for you.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
So I don't really use it. It's good for business and publicity. It's good to get the word out there, stay connected to customers, friends, people, referral partners, whatever it might be. It's good for that, but I don't use it explicitly for business. I don't pay for ads. I don't run ads.
Right.
We have a business page. I never post to it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, none of that kind of
I mean,
stuff. So
Good that you don't have to.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys. So you moved to a new office, bigger.
not necessarily bigger, just a better location.
Better location.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
All
funny
right.
because you were
But that's
looking.
always a good sign that business is doing well.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
able to make a move.
Business is good. The insurance industry is interesting right now because there's so much changing. Like you guys said, with security and self-driving
Yeah, so I
cars,
wondered
so
if
many
that's
things.
if that's a whole new branch for you.
Wait, did you say self-driving cars?
Yeah, like self-driving car and Uber. Accidents are like a 10-year low. I think they said right now people aren't getting into accidents as often because cars are
I
safer.
just got into an accident over the weekend.
Did you?
Oh, I'm
We're the
sorry to
outlier.
hear that.
I am the outlier, and it wasn't my fault. We were parked.
Really?
Somebody was pulling into the spot next to us and jammed the car up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I mean accidents will always happen, but as you have more, you have fire suppression systems, sprinklers, like
Right.
we're reducing a lot of things that used to cost insurance companies money.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to lower rates. So I think that insurance rates are just going to continue to go down,
Oh,
which is a good thing for
gosh,
consumers.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Probably not a great thing for you.
We're all commission based, so it's not as good. We just have to do better, do
More volume.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we see a lot.
Well, there's more things to insure with all these electronics and
Right.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I just put a post out today about how we can insure anything if you can drive it. Military vehicles, school buses, we get all kinds of weird stuff now. And I think people are more insurance conscious because it's required in so many areas of life, but people are thinking about it more. So, maybe 10, 15 years ago, people didn't care, but now that people are insuring their pets and they're insuring their packages from Amazon, they're insuring
Right.
everything.
Right.
I just did a VRBO for the weekend. We're going up for my brother's bachelor party. Hey, do you want cancellation insurance? Do you want insurance in case you
Right.
damage the place? I mean,
Right.
insurance is everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, they've moved, in a lot of cases, they've actually moved from security deposits to an insurance policy.
Yeah.
So we go down the shore every year with my family, and we always rent this big place because there's 97 of us. And instead of putting up the $500 that we don't end up getting back,
Yeah.
it's like $140, and everything's covered.
Yeah.
So if we break a countertop or do something stupid and bust up a floor, they just apply the insurance policy. We're off the hook. We sign off on it.
Right.
There's some guidelines we got to follow. But we sign off on it saying, yeah, we did it, and the homeowner gets the stuff fixed.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can insure just about anything. Yeah.
That's
weddings,
crazy.
we do weddings. Like right now it's wedding season. You get cancellation insurance. You get
Really?
event insurance. Yeah.
Cancellation insurance for what?
So it rains or something. You have to cancel your wedding. The venue falls
Groom
through.
gets cold feet.
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah.
can I get it? Like if If I decide, is she covered if I decide to roll?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, photographers. So you pick a limit, maybe 10 grand, but they'll give you back deposits for photographers and caterers and all
my
that kind of stuff.
gosh.
Yeah.
I bet my wife would have bought. No, she would have. Yeah. she would have just. She would say to me, "I would hunt you down and kill you."
That tells you how crazy the wedding expenses become.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't even
That's
get
another
into it. Are
whole
you kidding?
show.
Oh my gosh.
Gene, like 10 minutes ago, you were going to say something, and I cut you off to ask Andrew.
Well, no, it
question.
actually worked because he said something that got me intrigued, right? So I know a little bit about this, but you said they're insuring their Amazon packages.
Right.
That's kind of a decent segue into what I was going to get into next. But
The doorbell.
Explain to me a little bit what you mean. How do I insure my Amazon package?
So everything nowadays, like you can put, I forget what they call it, but basically if it gets destroyed, they're going to insure that so that they're going to send you the right thing back. Or you can get like cancellation coverage if it gets caught in customs or something. Like I think almost anything now, if you read...
I have to buy that separately through you, or is it offered through my order? How's that work?
No, so most of the time, all these little niche coverages are coming through, the purveyor of the product. So Amazon is going to say, hey, did you want to add shipping guarantee?
But Amazon is getting it from somewhere.
Sure.
Yep. Exactly.
And that could be you.
Yeah, so there could be background underwriters. Yeah, so like I
Right.
work for a company. I work for Allstate. So your big players that you see on TV, your State Farm, your Liberty Mutual, Allstate, they're not necessarily in that world. They may be in the background, but not things that consumers ever going to know about. But you have these bigger companies, brokers, or ones that specialize. We just did a golf outing, a charity golf outing.
Okay.
You ever see like the hole-in-one, you win a car?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Somebody just bought an insurance
Somebody
policy.
insures that. Yeah. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah, and it's so niche now that you can. I had a friend that's a yoga instructor, and she said, "Hey, can you do yoga insurance?" And I said, "Sure, we can get you a policy if you get sued." And it was like $500.
Wow.
And she said, "Well, I found it on yogainsurance.com, and it was cheaper." And I'm like, "Well, there you go. This company, that's all they do is just insure yoga practices."
Oh, how about that?
So insurance is changing, and I think that people are finding ways to do it lower cost because they're looking at the risk and they're saying, "Hey, how many people get a hole in one?
right.
How many policies do we have to sell to afford a car if somebody hits it?
Yeah.
This is a good bet. We're going to take it."
How about that?
Yeah, I love that.
So if you're doing a charity golf outing and you're giving away a car on the, 18th hole if you hit a hole in one, you haven't actually purchased that car. You're just praying nobody hits the hole in one, and you'll deal with it afterward. If they do, then the insurance is paying for the car, basically.
Yep. You just submit a claim. Yeah. You just say, hey, because I think it was like $300 for that policy.
Yep.
To insure a $25,000 car, let's say.
I remember doing one where we had a Camaro. There was a setup, and I remember this was years ago, and I thought to myself, how do they do this? And they're like, insurance.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like I remember hearing the whole rundown, like you just gave it.
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely.
Like, that's pretty impressive. And
But
then you start
think
thinking
about
about
it.
all the things you can do outside of that.
But I wonder, how many people try to scam that if everybody's in agreement that they, so and so hit a hole in one.
Right. Yeah, I think there has to
How
be
do you vet
independent
that?
verification. So the golf outing that we were at, there was somebody positioned at that tee or at
From-
that
Somebody
that
from the
green.
insurance agent.
No, not from the insurance agency, but just somebody with the golf outing that wasn't a player.
Here's the other thing, too.
I don't honestly know though what the
Pay
penalties
them
are.
off, too.
Listen,
Right,
penalties are pretty steep for insurance fraud. I don't know that I
Yeah.
would for a Camaro. I'm not
No,
sure
but
I'd go
I
that
wouldn't
low.
either. But I just wonder because that's most people are always trying to figure out how to get around rules and things.
Well,
So-
that is
Yeah.
true. Namely, your boy right here.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 30 minutes. I wanted to
Go ahead.
I wanted to get into this real quick because I am
The doorbell thing and the phone
the
thing.
doorbell thing.
The
I've got an
cameras and
interesting
all that.
doorbell thing story
Well, then,
for you.
what is it? Go ahead.
So a buddy of mine lives in Lancaster, and he had the Ring or the Nest or one of the ones that's like the front door camera
Right.
for his own security purposes. He liked it. Woman came on his porch and stole his porch furniture, and he had a video of the whole thing.
Nice. Yep.
Wow.
So he was able to take it to the police department and say, "Look, here she is."
Yeah.
And they were able to track her down. The woman showed up at his house the next day, crying with the furniture, said, "I'm so sorry. Can you, I don't want to go to jail. Here's your furniture. Just take it back." And he's like, "I'm not dropping this. Now I've got you on record. You came back. You're on the doorbell cam again."
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those
Right.
kind of things, I think we're going to see so much more of that.
Well, wait. I'm going to take you down a different road here. I think this is going to end up taking us past 30 minutes, but it's worth it. Right? I know that your
That's all right.
head's going to
So
explode,
don't
but
even go there.
if people have listened to this point, they're going to be like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" So, full disclosure. I have not verified this yet, and I'll explain why I haven't verified it yet because I can't find it. But I got a message. I'm friends with somebody on Facebook out in Las Vegas, and her broker of record, this guy, I'll give him credit, his name's Buck, posted this thing to Facebook. And I'm just going to read it to you, and I want you to think about it. It's going to be a couple minutes, but you'll get it. So you know that smart doorbell you like so much, your Nest Ring, Arlo, etc.? What if I told you they were just all approved to sell your at-home/away migration patterns so that companies can learn your travel patterns so as to maximize their marketing abilities to you specifically? What if I told you they're now selling those patterns to door-to-door salespeople or persons who pose as door-to-door salespeople so that their door-knocking efforts were more productive? For example,
Oh, boy.
Gene Volpe has a 90% probability of being home between 4 and 9 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. Let's go a step further. Gene Volpe has left the house an hour before every Las Vegas sporting event, thereby creating a 95% probability that he's a season ticket holder. Would you like to verify and predict that information based on the vehicle patterns on game days past? Now a would-be thief can pretend to be a salesperson and rob your house based on information that they can buy directly from the manufacturer of the doorbell camera. Want to really have your mind blown? Your home is someone else's workplace. The UPS driver's movements can now be tracked via the network of these cameras, and potential domestic abuser, immigration officer, process servers, etc., can request those movements via the same system.
Oh, my goodness.
How about one step further? Those same cameras can now tell anyone willing to pay for the data what you buy and have delivered based on your delivery and purchase patterns.
Wow.
So real quick, a couple thoughts. This was from this guy Buck, who I don't know personally, but I even shot him a message and said, I love this. You need to tell me where you found it.
Send that to me.
I will. You need to tell me where you found it. And he said there was an article called something project. Actually, I can be able to tell right
We'll
here.
find it. We'll make sure it's in the write-up of our...
I don't know. I can't find it because they're paid subscriptions. So one was from The Economist and one was from... I'm going to tell you right now. The Sunday New York Times, it's called The Privacy Project. But I can't read them because I'm not subscribed to either one. So it's possible that it's not true. Except that it's going to be true.
Well,
Right.
look at your... Well, you don't have an iPhone. Do you have an iPhone, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I get in the car every day, and it tells me how many minutes to work. After a couple of weeks, it figured out where I'm going every day, and they
Right.
call it work. Hysterical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what's scary? Invariably, it'll tell me X amount of minutes to the porch or to another bar that we go to.
The porch. Not your porch. The porch, which is
Yeah.
a bar with a restaurant.
It knows.
Together, yeah.
Well, not only that, because it's tracking you all the time, but I heard somebody the other day talking about, we think that this thumbprint is getting us into our iPhone, but what if it's actually recording fingerprints of
Same as
everybody?
your face recognition.
Right, face recognition.
My gosh.
absolutely. There's
Didn't
no question
think
about
that.
We're creating databases for people of
There's
unlimited
no question.
data
Yep.
that they can use against us, and hopefully it's just to sell a vacuum door to door. But if it's
Right.
not, if it's
No,
to break
because
into our
anything,
house,
it starts out good and it can go bad. I
But-
never thought about the thumbprint.
yeah. Well, I think though, I remember when people started having GPSs, right? Everybody had a GPS hanging from their dashboard,
Yep.
and criminals would go to a Phillies game, they'd break into your car, they'd turn your GPS on and hit home.
Right.
And they knew you were at the game, so
Right.
they had a couple hours to go to your house and rummage through your stuff, right? Now it's just more technologically advanced.
Right.
But I think that we've always had these problems, and we always will. Somebody's always going to figure out how to exploit our security.
No question about it.
But it is a trade-off. We're giving up privacy, we're giving up security and privacy for convenience.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just find it crazy that these days they still can't find people. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, think about it. They can triangulate every point I'm at. They know when I use my credit card here at Carmine's at 2:45,
Yeah.
and then I check in at Allstate next door because you and I are talking, and then I go to my sister's and post on Facebook,
Right.
and then go to Wawa and hit the Mac. How do you not know where I'm at any given time, any
Right.
given moment? So
Right.
when they're saying, like, one of my favorite movies is Citizen 4. We've talked about this before. Have you ever seen it?
No, what is it called?
It's Citizen 4. It's an HBO documentary about
No.
Edward Snowden.
Okay.
Go watch it. And it's it was the foreshadowing of all this stuff happening, and they're just gathering more and more. I keep saying they, like, I'm okay giving it. I get it. Like, my
Right.
wife, I didn't read that to my wife because my wife would freak out. Where I'm like, I have backup cameras. I have different things. Like,
It's
people can find me
Orwellian.
if they
It's
want.
definitely Orwellian,
Yeah.
and I
Which I'm
understand-
reading, by the way, right now.
You're reading what? 1984?
1984. Yeah,
Good
I'm reading
for
right now.
you.
Yeah,
Good
yep.
for you.
Yeah, I haven't read it in like 3 days, but I jumped back into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's something, huh?
It is a little wild. Yeah.
And pretty soon you'll have a little piece of masking tape across that.
Nah, I
camera.
don't.
But I think there's benefits too. I know you wrap me up whenever because I know we're short on time. But in the insurance industry, like now we're starting to go to. Right now, I can give you a discount if you let us track your phone while you're driving.
Right.
So it knows when you go above 20 miles an hour that you're driving or running really fast, maybe in Gene's case. But they're going to look at your driving statistics. Are you driving in the middle of the night? Are you driving a lot of miles? Are you hard braking?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to geolocate you and give you discounts based on that. In the future, what they're piloting programs is
Just give you tickets based on
well,
that.
so I don't know. That'll probably will come, right?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
they'll automate tickets and
It's
things.
like the cameras now above the streetlights.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Sure.
All those red
I
light
can't go in the
cams.
city. I'm paranoid. I
But
get more- I
think
get more
about
tickets
this.
in the mail.
So let's say you live in the city, you live in
Uh-huh.
Philadelphia, you move your car once a week. You got it because it's convenient, but you're really just using public transit. But you're
Right.
paying the same rate as somebody that's driving all day, every day.
Sure. Right.
So now, if we can use the GPS, what we're going to do in the next year or two, you're going to see it everywhere. I say year or two, but who knows, right? Sometimes
Right.
this stuff takes a while. Is like Uber for insurance. So
Sure.
we're going to give you a rate. When you drive, you pay. When you're done driving, it turns the app off. So when you're on
Wow.
vacation, you don't have to worry about paying while your car is sitting at home and you're in a
Right.
rental car, things like that.
Right.
So I think that technology at some point is going to become unavoidable to give all your data. We're
Yep.
just going to have more safeguards, more independent verification that people aren't misusing and abusing
Right.
all the info. But I'm with Gene. I give it up now freely.
Yeah. Yeah, because of the conveniences that it
Yeah.
offers you on the back end. I mean, I don't have to wade through a bunch of crap I don't care about. I'm not interested in lady shoes.
Right.
So if you're serving me up lady shoes all day, it's kind of a waste of my time. Now, there's plenty of other things I waste my time with, don't get me wrong. But I'm okay with the type of convenience that it allows me. I got these apps that handle things for my daughters, like this green light card. Have you heard this thing yet?
No.
It's basically a debit card that I can give to the kids, but I control everything. That's a brilliant concept. We should talk about it on a later date. But I get to control their spending, where they spend it, how much they do. If they're not like, they're girls, so I don't want them spending money at specific stores. Or I could say, this week you get $20 to spend there. So that I can control it while I'm teaching them how to manage money
your
and what
money, yeah.
interest is and all these other crazy things. So there's so many benefits to people having my information.
Right.
I connect that to my bank. So I'm okay with it because of what it allows me and affords me. But I get why people get scared.
All right, just keep the Second Amendment and arm yourselves, and we're good to go.
There you go.
There it is. There's the political backfire we're going to get. I thought the Google thing was bad, but speaking of which, just to end this, it just dawned on me. How is that not a lawsuit coming? Where somebody videotaped the CEO of Google without their knowledge? There's got to be some backlash to that.
It's done a lot. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
have
I
the
don't
answer to
either, and
that.
I'm just throwing it out there because as I'm looking at the page, I'm thinking to myself, there's going to be, especially somebody from Google, they probably have attorneys that work at Google, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You're right?
One
And so-
or
Yeah.
two.
One or two, then and if they take a hit in their revenue because of something like this, I got to imagine there's a lawsuit coming. But maybe not. Maybe it's covered and protected under something. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, that's just another story
Something
for another
to
day.
investigate.
For
yeah.
sure.
There you go. All right. Well, Andrew, you want to give us a plug? How do people get a hold of you if they want your insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just look me up on Facebook, Andrew Beaver. Instagram, Andrew J. Beaver. Can I give my cell phone number? Is
Do
that
it.
If you'd
Absolutely.
like to, sure.
610-698-0216. I just text everybody now. I don't, what I mean? We have a work number, but just text me, call me,
Yeah.
get a hold of me.
Awesome. Well, listen, this was serendipitous.
Yeah, thanks for
And I'm
having
glad
me.
that I'm glad it worked out this way. I didn't expect it, but I'm glad it worked out this way. And I learned something new today that you smoke cigars, so we'll be doing that in the near future.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to Marketing RV. Gene?
iTunes 5 stars only, or I'm coming to see you.
Okay, that could be scary. Well, if he comes to see you and you have food, you're good.
Or if I come to your house and you have a Ring doorbell, then you'll be
Just-
able to see me.
They'll see you
Just
coming.
leave a
They'll
plate
see
of
me,
food.
right? Yeah, they're going to see me.
Like a little kitty cat. Leave him a bowl of milk, he'll go away. All right, ciao.
Ciao.